So welcome back. In this section, the first thing you are going to do is go to your Telegram. So once you get to your Telegram, you search this bot name Eagle HFT bot. Check the name Eagle HFT bot, and it is this one. You click on it and click on start. Once you click on start, the bot is going to reply with your Telegram ID. So you have to copy that your Telegram ID and then go to your settings file and then put that your Telegram ID here. Once you put the Telegram ID, then set up your bot settings as I explained on the previous video. So you put your Telegram ID, your private key, and everything, as well as your bot license key. Set up the necessary parameters based on your discretion and the exchanges you would love to trade. Like now, the default exchange is PancakeSwap and BuySwap in this case. So I am going to go ahead and set up my private key in this video tutorial so we can proceed to fetching of pairs. And as been said, let me set up my private key and we'll come back later. Okay, so I am done setting up my private key as well as my wallet address on the settings section. And also remember to save the settings while you set it up, because if you don't save it, your bot will not execute it because it is not safe. Always remember, in any moment you are modifying your settings, you have to save it. And if your bot was running, you have to close the bot and run it again. That is restart the bot. Okay, so once you go to your flashloan bot folder, you are going to see log folder, utilities, main, and settings. The settings is what we just explained in the previous videos. Video sections. So the main is the main file that you are going to be running to run your bot. But in this case, we are not going to run the main file, because if we run the main file right now, we will have an error. That is it. We have an error because we are not fetching pairs. We are not doing the necessary things. So we're always showing error on the screen. So the utilities folder is where you have the the things you're going to use for some things you are going to use on the bots, the bots utilities, what the bot will use to work normally is where this is in these utilities. So the log file is where you are going to be seeing the information about what was going on your bot in a specific time, or the total pairs and the total token that is available in your triangular pairs. For now, there's nothing here because we have not set it yet. We have not done anything, so everything is just blank, like a new house that has nothing inside. So we are going to fix it one by one. So now if we go back to utilities folder, you're going to see ABI, and you are not allowed to modify anything here or to even go to the ABI folder. So this is the folder that has what the bot will utilize in working in, like for this multi-data ABI for fetching of pairs and finding arbitrage and so on. That's a smart contract ABI that is being deployed. So you don't have to modify anything here. So the fetcher is where we are going to start on, which is going to fetch our price. The price oracle section is what we are going to explain later, and BSC triangular pairs is what we are still going to explain later. Now if we open BSC triangular pairs, okay, this was from the previous video. Okay, so I can even delete BSC triangular pairs because we don't need it at this moment. It will automatically grade the files automatically once we start it. So in your case, you are not going to see it, or you might see it, but that might be from my previous test. So we are going to start it. Even though you see it, you might decide to leave it there, or you can delete it and start afresh, just like the way I am starting is right now. So from fetcher, we are going to fetch our pairs. So you're going to see how the fetcher has in connection with the settings that we explain about the fetcher settings here. Once we go to the settings section, if we go to the settings section, you see, remember the fascia section, yeah, per fascia settings. So we are going to see how it have connection, but it does not really have the connection with the settings here. This settings is what you just have to set it constant on the chain that you are trading. In this case, we are trading in BAC chain currently. Now the other chain will be available. So that is it for this. This does not really have, this has to be a constant setting, so it doesn't really have a connection with what we are going to do here. So we are going to fetch pairs right now. That's what we are going to do. So we are going to go to PancakeSwap and fetch the pairs in PancakeSwap. We go to another exchange, which is exchange 2, Pancake is exchange 1, and we do the same thing with all the exchanges. So for us to do that, we are going to open utilities, and then we go to Fetcher. Once we click on Fetcher, you are going to see BAC pairs fetch. This is a JSON file that involves the pairs that is being fetched from exchange 1, exchange 2, and exchange 3. If we open it right now, we are not going to see any pair. Okay, I think I fetched some pairs in these bots. So excuse me, let me just check again and remove all the pairs and then start the video again. Okay, so if you open the JSON file like this on your own, in your case, it's going to look like this, and you are not allowed to modify anything in it. Still, this is an empty JSON file. So this is where our pairs that we are going to fetch is going to be saved, and I'm going to be showing you how it's saved here, and you will see it. If you ever wonder, if you open the file and you see yours doesn't open, maybe your computer doesn't have the JSON files opener. In this case, I am using Visual Studio Code to open the JSON file. So in your local computer, you might search for Visual Studio Code and download this Visual Studio Code to open the JSON file in this tutorial that we are going to use. So you are not allowed to rename any of this file, to do any modification here. But at some point, you might decide to copy the pairs if you are switching from one exchange 1 to be exchange 2. Maybe PancakeSwap was exchange 1 and you want PancakeSwap to be exchange 2. In that case, you might decide to copy the whole pairs, the old JSON in exchange 1, and paste it in exchange 2 and copy exchange 2 to where you want it to be. That is if you don't want to spend your time fetching pairs anymore, because fetching pairs, especially in PancakeSwap, will take you like maybe 1 hour to fetch all the pairs. But you might decide not to fetch all the pairs. You might decide to skip some index and fetch it over. So that is it. And for the malicious tokens, this is some tokens that is being taxed. If you have ever wondered how I got these malicious tokens, I go to AgentFi. AgentFi is as you all know, arbitrage MEV analysis tool. So if you go to AgentFi and you go to BAC section, in the time you are watching this video, I recommend you download the malicious token and copy paste there. So if you go to malicious token, you are going to see this icon to download CSV. So you click on download. So I'm going to download the CSV token. Let me wait for it to download. So I have successfully downloaded the malicious token here. So I will have to go to my download folder and open the malicious tokens. So what I will have to do here is that I will have to copy from here. So remember, you're copying from here. And you copy all, you can just select all from here. So Control A and select all, then Control C to copy. So we copy from the AgentFi malicious token. Remember, always copy and paste, because you are not allowed to modify the formats of this, what your bot is using. Like this BSC malicious tokens is not allowed to be modified. So if you decide to copy the old malicious token Excel sheet and paste it here and rename it to this, it might not work. So always copy the data in the Excel and then open your own malicious token on your, okay, let me close this, on the facial